everybody, welcome back to the channel.
We're Steve and Audra. This last fall we were up in the Northeast and we came back to Florida. We have been in South Florida now for about 2 months. We've been mooch docking with family. We've been catching up on video editing, work, doing some updates and work on the van, and taking a little bit of time off filming. But today we wanted to give you an update about some things that are going on and to share with you something that we find is one of the biggest challenges of van life. So stick around. So what does mooch docking look like? Well, while we're here in South Florida, we park with family and we sleep every night in the van. So we go in their house and do work pretty much all day during the day, and then we usually share the evening meal together, taking turns cooking. Most of the time we're here, we're doing work, but occasionally we get out to enjoy the surroundings in this area that we love so much. Just like today, we're here at the beach. So a lot of times, like on Saturday, we'll take a break, come up to the beach. We've been seeing some old friends and neighbors that lived in this area since this was our home base before, and a little bit of exploring around the area.
We're so thankful that we have family that have opened up their home to us, allows us to come back to this area that we've called home now for over a dozen years.
Yeah, we're definitely so thankful for the family, and we're able to recharge our batteries while we're here. We also really enjoy being with family. Like, for instance, we got to spend Christmas with family, and it was an awesome time. We're going to show you a few clips from that time. We got some really great gifts. We're also kind of funny. We got to play some games together and just overall have a great time with family. 2, 1.
Oh,
good job, 10, 12, 13.
yeah!
Here's your prize. Oh, did you lose?
Close. No harder, just as it.
Here's our prize.
Let's see how easy it is.
Steve will love this one.
What happens if
All right, Dave, what did you get?
the ultimate cheese charcuterie board? You all know what it is, YouTube. Y'all hit that like and subscribe button now.
Oh, we got to do it.
Oh! So if you do make it in a cup, that's it, right? You're no more chance.
Oh!
Nice.
What?
Mom's playing too.
Oh! This is easy.
Oh!
It's called Bump
From RFK Jr., right?
Luke told me about it.
Look,
You need a replacement.
Look what we have now!
And then, just in case you
Bear
missed
spray? Dave,
they had a
bear spray.
Brought in cash. You need a stash.
It actually says Steve on it.
Why is he supposed to Steve?
Well, you have to watch our YouTube videos.
About the comment section of his YouTube.
Merry Christmas, YouTube. Catch these guys at Cracker Barrel. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Another cool gift we got from my sister was this Christmas tree ornament of a van.
So one of the things you might wonder is how we do Christmas. So obviously we enjoy spending it with family wherever we are, and it usually works out that we are with family for the holidays. Also, I used to be all about the Christmas decorations when we had a house, and now that we have a tiny house, it's a little different. But I still try to do some things that are fun for Christmas to make it special in the van. Here's one of the things you may have seen in the past. I put up this little sign that was just from the dollar store that goes right over here. I'm just now finally starting to take down some of the Christmas decorations. And I just got some other little things. I found some things up here, these candy canes at Walmart. It doesn't really take much to make me happy. I also found this little light at Walmart for only $5, and it shines really pretty colors around the van. And we got some little LED lights here that I think we also got for like $1 or something.
We wanted to make sure that we weren't all work and no play, so we took about a week over New Year's Eve and went to explore the Miami area.
So we started out our time as we headed down to Miami, stopping at some of our favorite places to see wildlife, Wakotahachie Wetlands and Green Cay. We did some walking around there to see what we could see. There wasn't as much wildlife as normal, but it was still fun to be outside and spend some time in nature.
So on our way down south, we decided we wouldn't take the major route and instead take a road less traveled and explore some of the smaller towns and beachside areas along the way.
We headed to our favorite boondocking spot in North Miami Beach. We got parked up and we got our bikes out, which is something we have not done in quite a while. And we actually rode our bikes over 7 miles to get down to South Beach, which is also not normal for us. But it allowed us to see a lot of great scenery. We got to spend the whole day down there, do some people watching, enjoy the views. One of the really cool things was, as we were watching the cruise ships go out, we actually, for the first time, saw dolphins playing and jumping right in front of the ship as it went out. That was absolutely awesome.
I think that pretty much ties us for the longest bike rides we've ever taken. About 15 miles round trip, and our butts were feeling it.
While we were down that way, we also got to check out some botanical gardens, which you might know I love. And we have the membership with the American Horticultural Society. That's a reciprocal program that allowed us to get in for free. We checked out the Fairchild Gardens, and they are phenomenal. We really enjoyed our time there.
And I also love botanical gardens.
One of the reasons we wanted to go to Fairchild is because they have an amazing butterfly conservatory, and we really enjoyed our time there, seeing all the beautiful butterflies. And we went to Flamingo Gardens in Davie, Florida, and there's a few different things we really like there. Of course, the flamingos, they have peacocks, and river otters. Adorable. We especially enjoyed the otter feeding. The river otter habitat at Flamingo Gardens is home to several playful otters, including Bella, who has a unique claim to fame as she had a cameo role in the movie Dolphin Tale, where she was trained to wave, a charming behavior she occasionally still displays for visitors. Rescued after being hit by a car, Bella was rehabilitated but deemed unable to survive in the wild, leading to her permanent residence here at Flamingo Gardens. She and her companion, Fast Eddie, are part of one of the most successful otter breeding programs in the United States, with over 39 offspring since 1989. Before leaving the Miami area, we spent some time on the causeway to Key Biscayne. We ran across some Muscovy ducks with their adorable babies. After chilling out a little bit in the van, we enjoyed a gorgeous sunset.
We wrapped up our time in the Miami area celebrating New Year's Eve, my least favorite holiday ever. It wouldn't be so bad if they could celebrate it at maybe like 7:30 at the latest. You know, wrap things up by 8:30, in bed by 9.
Since Steve doesn't like New Year's Eve, but it's one of my favorite holidays because I love fireworks, we thought we found a good compromise. We actually went back to the same boondocking spot in North Miami, and we were like, oh, this will be perfect. There'll probably be some fireworks at the beach, and then we can go to sleep. We don't need to drive the van around, because now that we're driving our house around, we especially don't want to be driving it on a holiday when everybody's been drinking. So we parked there. A little before midnight, we went out on the beach, and we were kind of surprised at how many people were out, and there were fireworks everywhere. It was really fun. So it was really great until 3:30 in the morning, people were still shooting off fireworks. So that kind of took a turn. The cat didn't like it. She hated all the noise. Every time the fireworks were going, she'd kind of jump. We couldn't sleep. It was pretty miserable. But until about 12:30, it was great. I love our parking spot in North Beach because it means I can get up for the sunrise and enjoy such a beautiful place while Steve is still sleeping all snug in the van. Our last morning in Miami, it was a lovely sunrise, and the bonus was getting to watch some kite surfers and a local blowing a conch shell to greet the new day.
So the next thing we celebrated after New Year's Eve was Audra's birthday. This was the second time we've celebrated her 48th birthday. Last year she thought she was 48, but she was only 47. After I did all the calculations, I realized she was off by a year. So she had a bonus year.
Yep, I got a bonus year. And since we were with family, it kind of spoiled me. They got me some flowers, a balloon. Steve made an amazing warm chocolate melting cake with the crock pot. We don't have a crock pot in the van, so that was kind of a special treat. And I also picked out another special dessert at Aldi, their chocolate mousse frozen pie thing that was yummy. So it was a fun birthday.
So one of the things I wanted to do with this downtime was tackle some projects that have been on the list for quite some time. One of which was to install our rear-facing camera in the back for our Van True dash cam. So it took some time to do that, and glad that's finally installed.
Oh, that's down.
It's free.
That brings us to today and what we wanted to talk about. There's something that we have not shared that's been going on for quite a while now, for actually over a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. Back when we got on the road full time, we headed out west and we were in Santa Fe, and it was, I think, September of 2023. And Steve told me that he was having some discomfort and some trouble, and turns out he had actually started having that trouble before we even sold our house. So that was back maybe like May, June 2023. So imagine my surprise when he told me in September that he'd been having some trouble for a few months. We talked about his symptoms, and we thought, or at least I thought, that maybe he had a urinary infection. So I do like to try natural things at different times, and I use something called D-mannose that is really successful with treating urinary infections. So he started taking that, and we thought he felt better, and then it kept going on.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was kind of alarming, to say the least, when it first started happening. And I suppose a typical guy response is just to ignore it and hope that it goes away. Well, this didn't go away. It would come and go, and we finally got to the point where I had to say something to Audra, and not only was there some discomfort, I was actually passing stones. And like I said, it freaked me out. I didn't know what was going on, and nothing that we tried seemed to work.
After that, we really didn't do anything about it, because for long periods of time, Steve would just feel fine, and we'd always heard about kidney stones. Thankfully, the kidney stones weren't like the ones that you hear of that are like worse than childbirth. It was just minor discomfort, so we just didn't do anything about it for a while, hoping it would just go away. But then it continued. So in May of 2024, we were up in Pennsylvania. We knew we were going to be there for a little while, so we started making some phone calls to urologists. But my goodness, we could not find anyone that could see Steve in less than 2 months, which didn't work for us because of our travel plans, and that's kind of frustrating. It's a little bit of a reflection of some problems with the medical system, I think, but it left us very frustrated.
So when we arrived in New York, we made a bunch more calls, and thankfully we found a doctor who had an opening that next day. So we jumped on it. Yeah.
Lucky.
Right. I guess there's part of me that's like, is this really a kidney stone, or is definitely a kidney stone in your
But if
opinion?
it came in the urine, yes.
So it couldn't be like anything else, like.
Focus on those four main things I told you, and then depending on what the stone is made of, you'll get more restrictions on diet and all that.
So we talked to the doctor for a while. Steve got a urine analysis, and we actually were able to give them a kidney stone to test. And the doctor's advice was that Steve needed to make some diet changes. He needed to lose some weight, eat less salt, eat less meat, and avoid oxalates, which is something that often causes kidney stones. And one of those big things is spinach, which is something that we eat a lot.
So in addition to changing my diet and making sure I was drinking lots of fluid, he ordered a CAT scan. The results of that scan showed that I had quite a few stones.
After Steve's CAT scan, we actually went up into Canada for a little bit, into Quebec, and we knew we were going to have to meet with the doctor again. Thankfully, he agreed to do a video call, So we thought to do that, it would make sense to come back into the States just to make sure that we had good signal with our phone and everything. We came back to the States, had a call with him.
If you focus on the bladder area here, can you see my arrow here and here?
Yes.
And then if you keep looking at those two bulges there, see some stones here
Yes.
and then here.
Okay.
See that? Yeah. So basically, this is your bladder. This is where the ureter comes and joins the bladder on both sides. In your case, you developed like a little sac here. See where my arrow is moving here?
Okay.
So they are called diverticulae. Diverticulae is like little outpouching.
Okay.
And you form stones in those diverticula. But we see it very rarely.
Is this something that I was born with, or that I developed, or maybe you don't know?
I don't know. More likely, you were born with a small diverticulum which got bigger in size. Or sometimes people develop at a later stage also.
Okay.
It's a very rare finding. That's why there are only a few case studies, with this kind of diverticulum.
He wasn't quite sure the best thing to do, but one of the things that he recommended was surgery. We talked about the timeline for that, and it was a little frustrating. He wouldn't be able to do the surgery till November, and that would mean with the recovery and post-op appointments, we would probably miss Thanksgiving in Florida with our family. So Steve asked the doctor if he could just work on his diet more and see if those stones would pass. And then when we got back to New York, making a decision about whether we're going to do the surgery or not. So the doctor agreed we were to come back at the end of October, get a scan, and make a decision then.
So we came back to New York and got a second scan.
So these scans showed that Steve had diverticulitis, which are some pouches in the bladder, and it's where the stones were collecting, and it's actually something that's rather rare. And the doctor basically told us that he is not the one that should do the surgery, that we should look for someone else. So, with that, we decided to come back to Florida, since we knew we were going to be here for the winter, and try to find a doctor down here.
So needless to say, this whole journey has been quite stressful. Not sure what was going on, fearful of what might need to happen, surgery. So I was very thankful to have this appointment with the doctor here in Florida and hear what he had to say.
Good morning, you guys. We have an appointment this morning. We are on our way to see a new urologist who has expertise in the kind of surgery that we think Steve needs. We're looking forward to getting a second opinion, seeing what he has to say, and hopefully getting some answers, and also be able to figure out the next couple months, see if we need to schedule surgery for Steve or anything like that.
Hopefully we can get some answers this morning and get a game plan together. I'd be lying if I said I'm not a little apprehensive, nervous about the potential for surgery and what's all involved. But I also realize there's a lot of people out there that would love to have my problems, so trying to keep everything in balance.
All right, here goes.
And usually it's just like a little valve here and done. You have a sacculation, like a, in the bladder like that, and that's on both sides. And so since you have a little bit of stasis of urine here, you will develop stones.
Mm-hmm.
And those
You said stasis. That means
stasis means stealth. You're in there that
Like it's
sort of
just
like
getting-
sitting.
sitting.
sitting
Yeah.
sitting
Okay.
there. Okay.
Right.
So like
That
like
makes
there. So
That makes sense,
What
right.
what it does is keep those these stones there. Usually, what I mean, and you've made it several years from childhood without let bigger and get the stones out, so that you don't have any infections. But if you don't have any infections now, we can just watch it. Does that make sense? But you have to know you have it. So if you have an infection or a bad one, or you're feeling uncomfortable, come back. We'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I got the best news possible. This doctor's recommendation is to basically do nothing, which is great because I was not looking forward to any type of surgery. So just need to kind of keep our eye on it, and hopefully there won't be any infections and I can just continue living life. So. Yay.
Seeing the doctor in Florida, I think, was a blessing to us. It was nice to get a second opinion, and he was a specialist in his area of medicine. And the news he gave us was very different than what we'd been hearing. So he actually told us that Steve does not have kidney stones, but bladder stones, which are different. And that explained a lot of things and helped us understand what was going on. And he also said that he doesn't think Steve needs surgery, which was a huge relief. I know Steve was really worried about that. He thinks we just need to keep an eye on things, and if we have any complications going forward, any like urinary infections that are repeating or something like that, just to get back in touch with him. But he thinks as long as Steve's drinking a lot, and he doesn't have to watch his diet because it's not kidney stones, but drinking a lot and just staying healthy, that it hopefully will be fine, and we won't have to do anything else about it.
So I was very relieved to have what amounted to a second opinion, and obviously his opinion was much different than the first doctor. So the good news is I can go back to eating as many cupcakes as I want.
And potato chips. Steve likes his potato chips. So we share all this basically because people ask us often what some of the hardest things are about full-time van life, and medical care and health is definitely one of the biggest challenges. We got on the road in July 2023, and right away we both had trouble with dental issues, and that was kind of complicated getting that all taken care of over the months. Something else is that for the last 2 years I didn't have mammograms because I tried to get them scheduled before we got on the road, and I couldn't get in because they just were all booked up. So there's things like that you have to figure out. It can definitely be a challenge to find doctors and get appointments and to figure out schedule if you need to stay somewhere because of needing care. So the takeaway with this for us is that it is possible to do all this full-time van life, even with some health challenges, but we think it's important to find insurance coverage that's right for you and just be ready to be flexible because you never know what's going to happen.
So that pretty much brings you up to speed on some things that have been happening in the background, and we wanted to make sure that we addressed them, didn't leave you all hanging.
And if you're wondering what's next, we are heading to VanFest.
Yep.
So we're going to take you with us, and we will see you there.
As always, we love hearing from you, so drop us a comment below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, we'll see you.
Bye, guys.